And we continue now with our Great American Panel. All right, so Tiger Woods gives 2 interviews, one on the Golf Channel and one on ESPN. Here's how it went.
How would you, in your own words, describe the depth of your infidelity?
Well, just one is enough. And obviously that wasn't the case. And I made my mistakes.
When you look at it now, why did you get married?
Why? Because I loved her. I loved Ellen with everything I have. And that's something that makes me feel even worse.
If your father were here today and looked back on these last 4 months, what would he say to you?
He'd be very disappointed in me. We would have numerous long talks, and that's one of the things I miss. I miss his guidance. I wish I could have had his guidance through all this. To have him help straighten me up, I know he would have done it.
You're shaking your head.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, I don't understand what he's trying to accomplish having these interviews that have already been pre-questioned. I mean, I watched all of them, and first of all, they're almost identical. And he makes all types of excuses. I wouldn't meditate. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm off dairy. I mean, any excuse that he can come up with.
I didn't hear the off dairy part, but you can add.
It would have been funny if he said that, but it's just ridiculous. And one of the things he said, they asked him why'd you get married? He goes, I loved her. He said that in past tense. I thought that's what I caught from that. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, that doesn't mean he doesn't love her now. I mean, he wants to. Obviously, you don't think this is real, that he's trying to work it out.
No, I don't think his wife is trying to work it out. I think this is all the public.
Why would she stay there?
Why wouldn't she stay there? Why wouldn't she stay?
She could take the money, her kids, and go on with her life.
I think she is going on with her life. I think she's there for image.
I think Tiger needs some better advice. I mean, he's certainly got all the money in the world to have lots of handlers, but I think he's getting bad PR advice. I do some crisis communications, and he needs to take off the hat. He needs to sit down. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars off of his image, which he essentially called a fraud last night.
Said it, yeah.
He needs to sit down, and he needs to show some repentance and answer some questions. It doesn't mean he has to take all the questions.
Look,
he has to explain why he's done what he's done.
You don't think he's humiliated? You don't think he's embarrassed? You don't think he...
Of course he is.
Now, there's a difference between being sorry for getting caught and being sorry deep in your heart. You know, the word repentance means to change one's heart. You spend a lot of your free time helping drug addicts and alcoholics get on the path. You've dealt with every lie that's ever been told. Did you think that was honest?
I think in his own way he believes it, to be honest. I mean, it's one thing about alcoholics and drug addicts is that they can convince themselves of virtually anything, and I think he really does want to believe that he's trying to.
You're not convinced.
Well, I'm not. I don't believe he's lying, but I tell you, I can't. I think both their comments were much more appropriate than what I could give you here. But I will say this, from a pure standpoint of coming back, the idea that you're going to start your comeback at the Masters without a warm-up tournament before he gets there,
not smart.
He'd fall flat on his face. I don't think he could win. As good as he is, I don't think he could get anywhere near winning the Masters without having any warm-ups. And the other thing I find amazing here is that his wife has not said a word during this whole thing. I happen to think we ought to give her the benefit of the doubt. She may very well love the guy.
I don't think she wants to speak. I really don't. And he's giving these interviews because the Masters is in 2 weeks. If it wasn't, he wouldn't be giving these interviews. He's trying to lay the playing field so he doesn't get too many boos.
But does he not have a right to go on with his life now? Does he not have?
He does, but he has to explain a bit. And if he wants the fans to come back, he has to show that he's human. And these interviews that are stilted in 5 minutes,
you think they're phony?
They're robotic. He looked like a hostage when he did that press conference.
I mean, but
I got to tell you something. I looked at him and I saw somebody that I thought, my interpretation, looked pretty stressed out.
He should be, but his image is that he was an upstanding person, and he has to explain who he really is now, because people don't know.
But you know what? He won't even explain his treatment. He kept on talking about his treatment.
You know, he was involved in the First Tee program for minority children. The number of children, particularly black children, who have looked at this guy as an idol and have joined the golf ranks, which never before were able to do before First Tee, I've got to think that's got to weigh on him terribly hard. The cost of this for him long term, not that I feel sorry for him or anything else, but I can tell you the payment back for addictions are enormous, and you'll pay for them the rest of your life.
Guys, good to see you tonight. Thank you for being with us. Now, a quick